Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Futsal868 Corner Talks. My name is Geoffrey Edwards, host and president of the Futsal Association Trinidad and Tobago. The Futsal868 Corner Talks is a weekly online meetup series where global sporting professionals share their experience and perspective on the fastest growing indoor sport in the world, futsal. Our hope is that this platform will educate our viewers whilst we go in the sport in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean region. Today, in keeping with our main matters schedule, we speak sport event management and futsal. Our guest is Brazilian national Sthefania Lacerda, an experienced competition and media officer for futsal and football events. As always, it's very important that we take time to look at who she is, a bit of a bio. She's very experienced both in FIFA and also in her country of Brazil. It is a great honor to have this woman be a part of this great of our show. This great woman to be a part of our show. So, without ado, we want to say welcome, Sthefania, to Futsal868 Corner Talks.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today, talking with you about this sport that we love, right?
Definitely the sport that we love. And just to give our viewers a little insight, you are part of the FIFA Master Network, and I was put on to you by one of our fellow alumni. And when you said yes to coming on the show, I did dance. I did say yes. I know that you're going to be a guest at our show, and I want to say thank you very much on behalf of the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago for being here with us today. So straight into it, can you give us a little background as regards to your personal and sport professional experiences?
Sure. Well, one more time, thank you for the invitation. And this is amazing how the FIFA Master can connect all of us. So meeting you and talking about this thing we love. So futsal. Actually, I started to play futsal. Never been professional, don't get me wrong. But in one point of my life, I felt that I was not a professional player. And I love it, the sport itself, and so I really wanted to keep working with this. So I did law. So I studied law in the university. But in the middle of the university, I started to get more involved with the sport itself. And everything started with the FIFA Futsal World Cup in Brazil. It was in 2008. And we have two host cities, that was Brasilia and Rio de Janeiro. And in that time, I went to Brasilia to be a volunteer there. And from that event, everything changed in my life. In that day, I remember when I arrived in the stadium, not the stadium, but the arena that we have the futsal. And I look everything going on, and I realized that it's not the pitch itself. It's so much more happening beyond the four lines, So in that day, I decided I want to work with this. So I finished my law school. I did other futsal and football as a volunteer, trying to improve or start my network inside this sport world. Because I'm from Anápolis. It's a city in Goiás. It's a state close to Brasília. Actually, Brasília is the district that is inside the state of Goiás. So it was not a big city. I didn't came from a family that was involved with sport. So I found in the volunteer event, as a volunteer in the events, the way that I could achieve what I want. To get involved with the events, learn from the different perspective, different departments. And so I finished my university, and I did a network program that CES has with FGV in Brazil. Is a program based in the FIFA Master. So it's a course that you also learn about marketing, law, management. And then I have the privilege to do the FIFA Master. That helped me a lot. And I remember that my last event as a volunteer was the FIFA Futsal World Cup in Thailand in 2012. And from that day, I met a guy that helped me a lot because Brazil was selected to host the World Cup. So I have the chance to start really working in the events with the Confederations Cup in Brazil and so on. I have the chance to be more involved with the events. I think the privilege to be in Brazil in that time was amazing because Brazil has a very nice events going on. We have the Confederations, we have the World Cup, we have the Olympic Games, and I'm also involved with university events in Brazil. So we host a very nice event with FISU, that is International Confederation for University Sports. So yeah, I get involved with all this, and I think it was like a overall resume for my path since 2008. That everything started when I was in the Futsal World Cup in 2008 in Brazil.
We know that Brazil has a rich sporting landscape: Formula One, basketball, tennis. And a lot of the big brands come to Brazil. In your opinion, how does futsal fit into that landscape?
I think what is good for us that is in the futsal environment is that in Brazil, especially, all the schools have the courts, So I think it's better because all the children has the how can I say, it's not the privilege, but they can know the sports. Because sometimes we know that, for example, Formula One or tennis, it's a sports that it's not a popular one. Let me put it this way, because it's a sport that demand a lot of investment. And when you play football or when you play futsal or volleyball or handball, they are sports that it's easy to achieve more people, So I think this helps a lot with futsal and also when you look for those big teams, the football clubs here in Brazil, the most famous, or not a famous player, but they all have a background in futsal, they always start the base of, the modality in the futsal. So they have this quality because they have the chance to play futsal. So I think this is great for the modality. It's a very well-known modality in Brazil. I think because of this, all the schools, you can find a court that they can play. It's easy. And even if you don't have a court here, you can easily manage it, like you can go in the streets, or it's easy to find a place that you can play. So I think this is great for futsal. So, can have more kids, more people playing and knowing the modality.
Before we came on camera, you told me that you love futsal. So tell me more about your personal love for the sport of futsal.
Well, I think we have some things in life that is hard to explain, but I remember that my family is from Minas Gerais, and we lived there for a year. And there I started to play. I was in a school that they have the women's team. And then I decided to play. I always like to do something to, like to run, to play, or volleyball or handball and everything. And I started to be part of that team in that school. And we started to play tournaments and everything. And when I came back to Goiás, I did a little movement in my school in that time. And we created a futsal team too. And we have inside of the school tournaments and with on other schools inside the city. And that thing was growing inside me. Sometimes it's hard to explain how, but something was changing. And then when I was in the university doing law, I always liked like law. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I look at the course itself. I say I need something more, something that really makes me, like go forward. I don't know. And then I went to Brasilia and was part of the FIFA Futsal World Cup in Brasilia. And when I came back, I totally changed my ideas in the university. And then I started to focus on the sports law. And then I started like that, I'm doing law, so let's try to combine both, like sports and law. But I need more. And then because of this, I think I changed it to do some course with management. I went to the World Cup in South Africa. And, I think when I'm working with futsal, when I'm working with sports, I don't know if I can put this in words, but I find myself, it's amazing to be part of the events, to help the modality and for me, it was very, very special when I had the chance to go 2 years ago in 2018 to Buenos Aires, that they hosted the Youth Olympics, and we have the futsal tournament there. FIFA managed to change because it's supposed to be the futsal. It's supposed to be football. I think it's under 15, under 13, something like this. And then they introduced the futsal. So it was the futsal tournament for the Youth Olympics, and it was amazing. And was, to be part of that event, you can see that they are doing something more also for men's and for women's, because we know that we have a lot of things to improve with futsal, and even more for the girls. I followed the girls in Brazil. I can say more for Brazil because it's easy for me to follow them. And they're doing great, but they are doing great themselves. They still need more support. They still need more, people helping them to grow, grow in Brazil and grow like in the whole world. I don't know, maybe you can go to the Olympics. I don't know. I have so much hope on this. I know that it's a process, but we have to dream, and since the beginning, when I started to get involved with sports and especially with futsal, I found myself. So I cannot see myself doing something else outside sports, outside in the futsal events, seeing the improvements.
It's interesting that you mentioned finding yourself, because I feel the same way. I'm a geologist, and football, futsal, sports and the whole gets me alive. So I totally understand what you're saying as regards to your passion, and I truly feel and sense your passion as regards wanting to speak to futsal. We will delve more as regards to your experience with the Youth Olympics and other aspects of your sport event management experiences. But at this moment, we jump straight into what we call the fun futsal facts, and what we try to do is make it country oriented and country related. So you might have some fun with this.
Wow, this is amazing.
Are you familiar with? I'm going to put this up now and tell me if you're familiar with this. But this is our futsal fun fact for this evening, folks. Many Brazilian oil rigs have futsal courts on their decks, so workers can play in their downtime. Were you aware of that?
Many Brazilians. This is in Brazil?
It is.
See, I told you, people here can find like a place to play, but this is very professional, like the fences and everything. Because in the play there, no one wants to get the ball, right? So it's better to put the fences there.
So I can attest that. So that's our fun futsal fact, and that also brings us to the end of our first segment. So we would come back after the break to discuss more with our guest, Sthefania, Lacerda. And see you all on the next side of the break.
See you.
So welcome back to the 6th episode of the Futsal868 Corner Talks. And with us is our Brazilian native colleague and friend, I can call her friend now, Sthefania Lacerda. And in this segment, we are going to delve a little bit more into her educational and sport event management. And we're going to do it a little different. We're going to do it live in pictures. So Sthefania, we're going to show some pictures. Quick one, the first one being very quickly, and tell us a little more as you guys, and this one is the educational part. Give us a little more insight of what happened. So let's start.
Well, I don't know if Jeffrey is gonna agree with me, but FIFA Master was the best experience in my life. I'm not a mother, I didn't get married, so I don't know this other experience. But being part of this group for the FIFA Master in the 15th edition was a life experience. I always wanted to do an internship. So in that time after the World Cup in Brazil, I had the chance to do the interview, and I was selected to be in the FIFA Master. And was amazing. It was the best 10 months in my life, I don't know if everyone know the program. The FIFA Master is a master's in humanities, management, and sports in law, and in sports. So basically, we have 3 universities. So first of all, we have 3 months in Leicester in England. Then 3 months in Milan in Italy, and then 4 months in Neuchâtel in Switzerland. So it was amazing. It was the best. It's the best time of my life, because we have the experience. In my edition, in my year, we were 31 students and 28 different nationalities. So this was amazing. So you always have something to learn with the professor in the class and everything. But, being together with all those friends, now I can call them family because we are all together. It's a FIFA Master family, and was amazing. It's by far the best time of my life, knowing rugby, like in England, we have the chance to visit the cricket stadium, the rugby stadium, and then you were in Milan, you were in San Siro, you were visiting the Ducati industry. So the factory was amazing. And then in Switzerland, we have the most important international federations, football. We have also UEFA there. We have cycling, volleyball, basketball. In that time, we have the chance to visit the Formula 1. I forgot now is the name. In Switzerland was
Neuchâtel.
No, the factory, the Formula 1 in
okay.
Switzerland. I'm gonna come. At some point, I'm gonna come. But we visited, and in that day was amazing because they were putting the cars to go to another Grand Prix, and was great. So because sometimes people say, it's FIFA Master, it's only football. No, we have the chance to see other sports too. And the experience that we shared. I have friends from Russia, from Spain, from also from Brazil, from United States, Germany. So now we have friends everywhere, and now we also have this great community, this great network with FIFA Master that us have the chance to meet here, from this network, and it's amazing. And it was a great time of my life. I think was a great for also for my personal and professional growth, and it was great. See, this picture was amazing. Like bring all those memories, and it's great.
So we have the second picture. Tell us
Okay.
Tell us about this one.
This was amazing. This was my first time with FIFA. It was the first invitation that I received to work with them, and was the futsal event. It was the FIFA Futsal World Cup in Colombia. I had the chance to work in Medellin, and in that time FIFA has the name as a general coordinator assistant. Nowadays they use like competition coordinator. So yeah, it was my first great experience with FIFA as a freelance with them, because I also had other opportunities as a volunteer. And it was amazing because it was futsal, of course, so you understand me. And it was very special. Unfortunately, I couldn't see Brazil. They lost to Iran in the group phase that they were supposed to play in my city. I didn't have the chance to work directly with them, but it was a great experience. In this tournament, I work also with a guy that calls Laurent, and he's amazing. I learn, and I think that I'm still learning with him. He works in UEFA, with futsal with UEFA, and was very special. And the group itself was great, and the experience, to be in a futsal World Cup working, because I have other 2 experience with as a volunteer, was also good. It's different. I mean, when you're a volunteer, you can, don't get me wrong, but you can enjoy more when you're a volunteer. But when you are working, you have responsibilities. You can and you should enjoy, but it's different, because you have responsibility. People are counting on you. An event is coming, like it's happening. It's a FIFA event, and all the standards that they have to be a great event, to deliver a great event. So it was a great experience in Colombia, and I have also good memories from this one. And then after Medellin, I could come back to Cali to see the final. Was Russia and Argentina, and was amazing. It was a great match. It was not Brazil. At least I had the chance to see Brazil in 2012. They won in Thailand, and I was there, so it was great. But unfortunately, in 2016, it was Argentina. But it was good to see them winning.
And we are back. As happens sometimes with live television, especially when streaming. My apologies to the viewers and also to Sthefania. So you can continue as what you were saying.
No, but then I just finished with, unfortunately, I had the chance to see Argentina winning in 2016. So it was also good. It was also a great match, Russia, in the final in Colombia. It was nice. This was a great event.
So last picture for Life and Pics. Before you,
that one is very special.
Very special. But before you go on to it, before you mention it, I want to put this up. I want persons to understand, based on FIFA.com, when we were doing our research, you were labeled the volunteer who traveled 10,000 miles. Tell us a little bit more as regards to this experience.
Well, actually, this picture is from the World Cup in Brazil in 2008. It was my first experience. Look how I was young in the picture. But and then FIFA used this picture because I went to Thailand. It was in 2012, the Futsal World Cup there. And well, I will try to put this nicely, but here at home, I put my parents crazy because I really wanted to go to Thailand. And they were saying, Sthefania, what do you want to go to Thailand? And say, it's going to be the next World Cup, the Futsal World Cup. I need to be there. I was in 2008. I want to work with this. I need to go. I want to go. And my friends was like, you want to go to Thailand, but it's not to go to the paradise, you know, the great beaches. No, I want to work. And it was amazing. Because kind of crazy too, you know, like I was, I don't know how old I was in the time, but I was kind of young, and I went to Thailand all by myself to work in the Futsal World Cup, and again was a great experience there. And I remember that it's kind of funny because after Thailand, a lot of things changed in my professional life. I went there to be a volunteer in another department. And when I arrived there, they said, oh, you speak in English? I say, yes. A little bit of Spanish. In the time, a little bit of Spanish. I have a basic notion of French. And say, oh, we need this kind of volunteer for media. You want to work with media? And I say, I never worked with media before, so I think it's okay. Let's give it a chance, you know? And then I say, oh, okay, so in 2 hours you have a meeting with FIFA. I say, what? I just arrived because it was a very far flight, a long flight. And I didn't want to sleep because it was like 2 p.m. You know, like I prefer not to sleep. I say, oh, okay, I'm going to wait to go to this meeting with FIFA. And I say, FIFA, Dios mío. Okay. And then it was amazing because there I work with media operations for the World Cup. And the guy was like from FIFA. It was funny because you're Brazilian. I say, yes. You live in Brazil? I say, yes, I live in Brazil. And you came to Thailand just for the World Cup, the Futsal World Cup? And I say, yes, I came just for the World Cup. No beaches, only futsal. And he said, you're crazy. I say, no, I'm not. I'm just a futsal fan, a futsal lover. And I want to work with sports. And I want to get involved, you know. I want to meet people. I want to understand the logistic of the event. And then he said, can I do an interview with you? And I say, yeah, of course. And it was the picture in this, the volunteer that traveled 10,000 miles. So it was because of this. So, and then the interesting thing is because of Thailand, I work with media operations for the Confederation World Cup in Brazil and also the World Cup. And I have the chance also to be in the Women's World Cup last year in France as a media operation, as a FIFA media officer. So from experience as a volunteer in Thailand, the opportunity is open for me. So it was amazing.
So before we end this part of the show, we just want to be able to, some persons are streaming this interview live, and we want to be able to let them send some love. They have sent some love to you.
Oh, so, that's nice. Oh, that's cute. Beijo, Bárbara.
That's not all.
Oh, that's nice. Fernando, we worked together in the last under 17 World Cup from FIFA. Yes. Was in Goiânia. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a very nice event. It was nice to work with you too, Fernando.
Yes. So this ends the second segment. On the other side, Sthefania, we want to be able to delve a little bit more as regards to volunteering and sport event management. You're looking at the Futsal 868 Corner Talks. This is episode 6. My name is Geoffrey Edwards. I'm your host. See you on the other side. So welcome back to the Futsal 868 Corner Talks. I'm your host, Geoffrey Edwards, and with us is Sthefania Lacerda. We want to say thank you very much again for being here. Before we broke, you were speaking as regards, we had something called Life in Pictures, and we were speaking as regards to your volunteering and your sport event management experiences. In this segment of Main Matters, we are dealing with sport event management. Can you tell us a little bit as regards to how has volunteering for mega events such as FIFA Futsal and traveling 10,000 miles assisted you in your present capacity as a competitions coordinator?
Yeah, as I said before, when I decided to work with sports and I started to think about I don't know how, but I knew that I need to go to the events. I need to be there, to get involved, to understand how everything was connected to that event happen, because before I started to do the volunteer, I always had the chance to see on TV the events, and of course on TV you don't have the 100% notion of what's going on. So I see through the volunteer programs the way that I could, to build my path. So in that time I have a feeling that everything was very well connected for me because it was in Brasilia when I started to do the events. So I live like 150 kilometers from Brasilia. So it was easy to go to Brasilia. Not easy because I have to talk with all my professors in the university and say, I'm going to be three weeks away from the university because I'm going to be in the working in a sport event. And the professor, like law, he says, Sthefania, you're crazy. You can do this, blah, blah, blah. But I was very at that time, and I talk with all of them, and they understand. Thanks God, they understand. So, and today, when I look back, makes all the difference, being there in Brasilia for the Futsal World Cup. Then I managed to go to the World Cup in South Africa. After that, before Thailand, in the same year, in 2012, I had the chance to be the volunteer in the UEFA, the Euro. Was in Poland in that year. And, everything was connected because in each event, I tried to do in a different role, in a different department. So from this, I could see the event, when, and also the Olympic. I was not in the Olympics in Rio, I was not a volunteer, but I was in a totally different area that was accreditation. So I always tried, to do different things to understand the whole event and then decided what I like the most. So I could work with hospitality. I work with a youth program, hotel service, accreditation, fun entertainment. So media. So I did a little bit of everything that I could. And to see, to have this big picture of the event. I know that football it's huge if you compare with futsal, but the understanding, it's kind of the same. You can picture how everything is connected. So I think was very important, to be a volunteer, knowing people, because I think this is it's primordial. Like you have to meet the right people. Like you can share experience, because sometimes you know very well something, but then you also can explain to someone, and then this other person can also teach you something different. Like you have to change experience to grow. So I can say that in this journey I met a lot of good people inside and outside sports, that I have the chance to learn a lot. And I think you need to have this experience, I think life is like a stair. You have to go step by step. You cannot have a big jump, because otherwise you have a lag. So you have to learn, step by step, in a futsal tournament, or in your university event in Brazil. Oh, it's a scholar, tournament. It's a regional tournament in your city. In each event, it's always something that you can learn. It's always someone that you can meet and you can share experience, and try to be a better person, a better professional, because I think it's part of the journey. You always going to be one step forward, so you have to be prepared to be there too. And for me, primordial to be volunteer, in those events, to build me, to create Sthefania for what's gonna come. I know what I already did, but I also have great perspective for my life, what's coming, what's next. So I have this feeling that I need to prepare myself. Unfortunately, I remember that in Brazil, in the World Cup, people were saying a lot of bad things about being a volunteer. Oh, you're working for FIFA. FIFA can pay you, but it's not about this. It's always when you do a social volunteer, it's about helping others and helping yourself, because sometimes you think, I need to help someone. No, but sometimes you are helping more you than the others. So it's not all about money, so it was very important to my life to go to Thailand. I know that I spend a lot of money, with tickets, with accommodation, with food and everything. But in the end, what I received in those events was so much more. I can put this in values, in money. So it was amazing.
I'm very happy to hear you speak as regards to volunteerism, because I think it's something that we in Trinidad and Tobago and also the wider Caribbean need to understand. And hearing it from you and seeing, as you say before, your step approach to moving upwards, both from a personal and a professional perspective, is amazing. It leads me to having two other questions. And one is, to educate, as I said before, this Futsal868 Corner Talks is to educate our stakeholders. So in your words, can you define sport event management?
Ooh, challenging. Well, defining sport management, let me think. I have more experience in competitions and media operations. But what everyone needs to understand, that the event to happen, all the departments need to be connected. You have to have a good relationship with all the departments. You cannot simply deny. I mean, for example, I'm from competition. Competition is the main department in my head. It's the main department, because it's the players, the referees, is the match itself is the most important. No, it's not, because in sport, it's not connected with competition to bring the referees, to bring the players. The match is not going to come. If you don't have the venue manager, to set up the venue, to everything happens, to receive the spectators, to open the concessions with the food, like the food and beverage. So you understand the event, because sometimes people are very focused in just one area, one department, but no, it's everything is more complex. It's not difficult. I mean, it's not this. I don't want to put in a negative way, but it's complex. You have to understand that everything needs to be connected. You have transport, you have the people that work in the training sites, because sometimes it's not in the venue that the match is happening, but you have the hotels that you have the players there. You have the training sites that the players are training. The hotel that is the referees. So you have to think in all those details. You have to think about the streets around the venues that the people are coming to the stadium. It's very strategic, so it's not the match itself. This is that the people need to understand. For example, when I work in the Olympic Games, I could see more, about how big it is, because when you do the World Cup, it's, that is one sport. Oh, okay, it's football. So you focus in football. But when you do Olympics, it's so complex because you have a lot of other sports going on. So you have the international airport crazy with 5, 6 airplanes arriving at the same time, because I work with accreditation. So I was there in the airport receiving, those first athletes. And because sometimes they could get the accreditation from the airport and not from the accreditation center in the city. So you have to think in all of this, you have the airports, you have the transport department, you have the hotels, the team services also, because you always have someone with the teams to help them to deal with the daily things, like laundries, or also dinner at the hotel, or they want to go outside the city, so you have security, so all of those departments are very connected to make the event, so to manage the event. And if you're not connected, if you don't have this good relationship with all the area, and sometimes it's very understand you to understand the others' work, it's not because I'm a media operation, I don't care what transport are doing. No, if I'm media operation, I want to work together with transport to see if the reporters, the TV, the people that are working to cover the event are coming to the venue. The concessions are open. They have the proper food to eat. You understand? So it's good to know a little bit of everything. You don't need to be the expert of everything, at least for your area, for your department that you're working. But I think this is the event. When you think about the event, you need to think about all of this. And then you have also the sponsors, like the marketing area is very complex because of this. You have the sponsors, and then you have the broadcast. So I hope that I could answer
Of course you did.
your question, because it's a lot of things, all connected to the event.
A lot of moving parts, totally. Yeah. A lot of moving parts. If it is we were to zoom into your competition coordinator position that you're more familiar with, can you describe to viewers listening what is a competition coordinator, as well as give us your experience with it in the FIFA Futsal World Cup scenario? What was a day like for you at specifically the FIFA Futsal World Cup?
Okay. Well, basically, working with FIFA for the Futsal World Cup. Usually, we arrive at the venue, at the not the venue itself, but you arrive in the country that are going to host the event 10 days before the opening ceremony. And thank you, Anna. So you arrive 10 days before, because you have a meeting with all the other competitions, because then we split to our venues. So, for example, let's take Colombia as an example. So, in that time, we have 3 venues. So, we have 3 cities that we host the event. So, 2-3 days, we were all together in Cali, having the meetings, the preparation, all together, knowing each other, because basically with FIFA, you have the GC and 2 competition coordinators. GC, sorry, it's a general coordinator. You have 1 general coordinator and 2 competition coordinators for venue. So we're there, knowing each other, having some meetings, going through all the steps that we need to do as soon as we arrive at the venues. So usually we arrive in the venues 7 days before the first match of our venue, our city. And basically, the first step is to receive the first teams that will play in your venue. So we have to welcome them, and then you have to check the documents as normal, you know, like in the uniforms. You also need to check the uniforms, you check the name and the number. Also check with the marketing responsible for that event also, because it's very, how can I say? It's very specific. When you have the jersey, the size, you know, the size of the number, the size of the name, the size of the sponsors, so it's a lot of details, and you have to check this. So we have to go per team, per national team. So we have a long day with them, checking all this, the uniform, the documentation, the passports and everything. And then we give them the balls that they have the rights to have, you know, the tournament balls, some souvenirs, also the slogan to put on the sleeves on the jersey, you know, with the competition, and also depending on FIFA use, but sometimes it's like fair play or football for hope, something like this. They decide per event what they're going to use in these sleeves. So yeah, in the first days it's this, and then you also have to go to the venue, and we have this checklist to go through to check the dressing rooms, you know, to check the court itself, the nets and everything, the flow. The flow is very important, you know. We need to check the flow, like as soon as they arrive in the venue, we have to decide where the bus is going to stop, the flow of the players until their dressing rooms, until the training side, that they also have a warm-up, not the training side, but as more a warm-up court, you know, all those details, you know, and also talk with the other departments, like as I was mentioning, you know, like we need to talk with if I'm a competition coordinator, I need to talk with who is responsible for media operations, who is responsible for TV, who is responsible for the cleaning, because we know that in the futsal we always have someone to clean, you know, during the break time and everything. So we need to talk with everyone. We need to meet actually the people from the LOC, because when you go as a FIFA, you also have a counterpart in the LOC, that is the local organizing committee. So if I'm going as a FIFA competition coordinator, has a competition coordinator from LOC. So we need to meet, you know, to check everything, to go through all the checklist, do a tour in the venue, you know, from outside to inside. So it's we have a lot of details, because it's for the success of the event. So we have to know everything, you know, to know the flow of the spectators, to know where the VIP seats are, where is the sponsor seats. So as a competition, you have a lot of things to do, you know, it's all connected with a competition, because if you have interview, is with the players. So if people are watching the match, it's because of the match. So everything is very connected with competition. So also TI, the technology is very important, you know, especially nowadays that we have all these streamings and everything. So we have to have a good internet. So basically it's this that we do. And I was mentioned just before the match started, you know, like as soon as the competition started, because we arrive some days earlier. So as soon as the competition started, we have also our duties inside the competition, but always taking care about the referees, the players. We also have the doping control, you know, is also together with us, the medical department. And yeah, and now we also have a lot of meetings with the teams itself, because we have to prepare them. So we have the team arrival meetings, we have the group team, you know, like at the meeting with the group itself, you know, Brazil is going to play to Trinidad Tobago. Let's put them together to check the uniforms, which uniforms they're going to use, because we have the colors. So we need to match all those things because we have the referee's jersey, we have the bibs, colors, we have the teams. So we have those meetings to decide everything. So to check also the item, because we always play the item from both teams. So it's a lot of details, and I love, like to be involved with those details inside the competition for Futsal World Cups.
With the FIFA Futsal World Cup postponed, initially it was to be held in Lithuania in September. How do you, as a coordinator, feel about that? And even because I know that you're involved in the Sao Paulo Football Federation. How has that impacted your duties and responsibilities, and how has it impacted you personally?
Well, when I received the invitation, they usually send us with 3-4 months before, because with this you can plan your life. So, okay, I have my job. Usually, today I work in an agency managing Bridgestone account for CONMEBOL tournaments, but I also work with Sao Paulo Football Federation as a match coordinator, and then we can plan, because when you receive the invitation, you need to plan, because you're going to be like 30-40 years away from your normal life. But we're supposed to have the Futsal World Cup this year in Lithuania. We didn't receive yet a final decision, but unfortunately, probably is going to be postponed. But I think we all understand nowadays. I know that we love sports. We want to watch a football match, a futsal match, a volleyball match. But the situation, it's sensitive. So we have to take care of our lives. We need to take care of our health. And unfortunately, I don't know how it's going to be this year for sport. But I think everyone it's facing this. So it's going to be complicated, because it's going to be a new day, a new date for this tournament. So you have to plan everything again, my normal job or my job with Sao Paulo Football Federation. But I think everyone is going to be, comprehensive with this, because everyone is facing. So unfortunately, something that we have to deal with is something different that we are not used with this COVID virus. So I think we try to do our best, if we are doing home office, try to, to learn as much as we can inside our home, or be understandable with others, what's going on in the world. And and see, because nowadays it's complicated to think when it's going to be. I don't know when it's going to be the next futsal tournaments. FIFA has other events that they postponed to. Also the Olympics, that it's a huge event, and they have to postpone. So I think it's all new for everyone, so it's kind to have something already set up in my mind, because it's hard to know what's going to be and how we're going to react. But for sure, everyone is going to try to do our best, and the best for the players, because you also have to think about the players. It's not about let's host the Futsal World Cup. It's not about this. You have players coming from all over the world. You have to, to take care about the borders and the health. So let's see how we are gonna be able to plan, But for sure, I'm gonna do my best to plan my life to be in Lithuania. I hope so.
So before we say our final remarks, and we want to be able to take a look at the Let's Play Futsal Caravan, where before COVID-19, where social distancing wasn't even known about. And right after this, we will have our final remarks from Sthefania and wrap up our show. So take a look at what the Let's Play Futsal Caravan brought to you by the Futsal Association of Trinidad Tobago.
should go on a snow. What we try to do is that we try to encourage the students in as much activity as possible. And this particular activity came at a good time, where it's that they now start training for the season that comes up in 2019 PSFFL. And we thank the Futsal for coming to our school to share with us. Right? I think it was very important. Children who wrote even away of it, they came and participated. So that helped in our development at Tribuna.
So that was scenes from the Let's Play Futsal Caravan that we do in the primary and secondary schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago, brought to you by the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Episode 6. We have with us Sthefania Lacerda, and it's coming to an end, Sthefania. But we want to say again, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Last 2 questions to you would be, what are your thoughts as regards to having more futsal tournaments for youth and females organized by FIFA?
What do I think? Sorry.
Yeah. What are your thoughts as regards to pushing more futsal tournaments for youth and for females in the FIFA calendar?
Okay. Well, unfortunately nowadays FIFA are not in charge of the futsal, the women's futsal. But I don't know. It's something very personal. What I'm gonna say. Last year with the Women's World Cup, I think was a very special event. I think that changed everything for the best for the women's sport. You know, not only for football, but they proved that people want to see. Because sometimes people say, people don't want to see this on TV. No, it's not true. So the Women's World Cup in France last year showed the world that people like it, people want it, people enjoy it. So I think this is a great door for all the women's sport, you know. So and now talking about futsal and the youth, I also think that Buenos Aires was very nice because FIFA could see a little bit more about how was the engagement with the people and the supporters with the futsal itself, because they have the women's and the men's competition in that tournament, the Youth Olympics. So I think was a good test. Let's put it this way. So was a good test for them to see, you know, how good was. I mean, I'm always very positive, so sometimes I need to be more critical with some things, but I need to keep like this, you know, to be positive. That they saw that was very good. The women's futsal tournament in 2018, the youth one, and also with the women's last year. So I think. Well, of course, we need to improve a lot of things. I don't think about FIFA or CBF or CBFFs in Brazil, because in Brazil, well, they have a discussion, but nowadays it's split. We have the Football Confederation in Brazil and we have the Futsal Confederation. So I think it's everyone, you know, like put together all the effort to build futsal, not only the men's, but the women's. And I think I can say more about Brazil, but we have a lot of girls and good girls playing. You know, I can see that UEFA are doing a great strategy with this. They are implementing more tournaments with women's, you know, like the Women's Futsal Champions League and everything. So I'm very positive with this, and I really hope that very soon FIFA could manage this, because I think that as soon as they decided to organize, you know, to professionalize more the women's tournaments, I think everyone is going to think differently, you know, because sometimes, I don't know if they think about it, but sometimes they say, women's futsal, I don't know, because FIFA are not taking care of blah, blah, blah. But it's not this point. I think FIFA really wants to see that the people are doing something more, you know, something else about the modality. So, well, I'm always positive with this. I think as I said, The Women's World Cup last year was amazing for all the women's tournaments, the sports. And we have great professionals in Brazil that can build this, because we know that we need to start with the youth, and then we have the main team, the regional tournaments, the national tournament, and then go to confederations, like South America tournaments, and then to an international tournament with the whole world. So it's complicated to think like, FIFA, do something, but sometimes we are doing something nationally. Like we need to start here. I need to start in my state. I need to start with my country, and then go forward. I have the pleasure to know two girls that nowadays are working and doing a great job with the women's futsal in Brazil. That is Tatiana and Ayara. And I also always talk with them that please put me involved with you guys in any tournaments, because I want to be involved, like to be there, to learn with them, because they're doing a great job with the futsal here in Brazil with the girls. And we know that it's not easy. It's like an ant job, like it's little by little. You go there and you go and construct something big. So it's a process. I think we are in the way. We need to be motivated, it's not like this that things is going to happen. So we need to believe, we need to be positive, we need to work, because sometimes we are sitting in our home just saying, no one is working. But so do you something. If you see that something is missing, be this person that is going to do this. You understand what I mean? So, because sometimes it's easy, like to complain, but do you something. So if you think that futsal, the women's futsal is not good, try to meet people, to put people together. Try to build small events in your school, in your city. Like I started like this, like I was playing in my school, then I was playing in my university, and I was doing some movements to put all the university together. Teams from law, teams from medical school, put people together. And then you go, like little by little, go to your city, then your state, it has to start in some point. Because it's hard just to complain with FIFA. It's not go there and say, FIFA, do something. No, it's not like this. We need to do something here. Because if FIFA decided to do something, we don't have nothing in structure. So we need to have this structure also for them. I know that they were, I think in the last, they don't call Women's World Cup futsal, but it's like an international tournament for women's futsal. And FIFA was sending some representatives. So I think they have the eyes on this, but they also need to see that the countries has some professionalism in this. So, but let's keep positive, because I really want to see the women's futsal growing.
As you rightfully said that, we from Trinidad Tobago extend an invitation to your two friends to have them come to Trinidad and Tobago. With as individuals or with a team, to be able to spread the gospel of futsal from Brazil to here. So we want to extend that invitation to them.
No, for sure they will love, because I think this exchange is amazing.
Correct.
I will tell them.
Lastly, it has been reported in some media outlets the potential or possibility of having futsal in the senior Olympics. Yes, it was included in Junior Olympics, and it was historical. I always mention this. Trinidad and Tobago was represented by a female team at the Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires, Argentina 2018, for which you were a part of. What are your thoughts as regards to the rumblings that are being heard to having futsal in the Senior Olympics?
Personally, I think it will be amazing. I think one of the good things about futsal, also, we have a lot of no good things about futsal, but it's that we don't have a certain age to stop playing. You can see Falcão. He's not playing with our national team anymore, but he's playing. And you can see people with, like after 40s or 45 years old, is still playing. And I think this is amazing. I think it's sport. You cannot define someone like, you can play only if you are until 30 or 35. So I think it will be a good thing, We know that we need to be prepared to play because it's an intense match and it's easy to injure. If you're young, you can easily have injure your knee or something like this because of the court. It's very specific, it's very fast. We know this. But it's not something that should block you, like, you're more than 50, you cannot play. Well, if you have conditions, why not? If you're a woman or a man, why not? I think it will be nice. I think it will be very nice. And not only for futsal, but other sports too, that the people can be able to play. I think as soon as you're doing some sport, you're doing activities, it's good to your health, it's good to your mind. You can see now that we're in the lockdown, how people are missing do something, missing running on the streets, missing doing your, like a swimming classes or playing football or futsal with your friends. You can see in this lockdown how you miss, how your body are missing this. So it doesn't matter your age, if you still have conditions to play, why not? It's always good to do some exercise and compete. I mean, I'm a very competitive person, so it's always good, to compete. And always when you're playing, you're meeting new people. It's always. I think it's great. The environment of doesn't matter if a youth or a senior competition, a tournament. The environment is always great. Like this. I love, and sometimes it's hard to find the words, but the environment of that atmosphere, when you're there in a World Cup or in a Olympic Games, or even when you're doing some university or scholar tournaments, that environment of competition, or to play, to be there, to be as a team, like a teamwork. So. I don't know. I don't think that the age can or could stop someone to playing. I think it's going to be nice to have some futsal tournaments, those seniors tournaments.
Sthefania, on behalf of the Futsal Association of Trinidad and Tobago, we want to say thank you very much. You were our first guest. You were our first female guest at the Futsal868 Corner Talks. And you are the first guest of the May Matters, where the Corner Talks delve into the different components of sports. And today we had the pleasure of having you, as we say at Futsal Corner Talks, where sport leaders meet. We had one of the leaders of sport event management speaking to you as regards to the experiences. I want to say thank you very much. We ask God's richest blessings unto you and your family during this difficult, weird, complex period of COVID-19. And we pray that you are protected from any illnesses, any diseases, any viruses. God's richest blessings to you and yours. I want to say thank you very much. Do you have any final words as regards to that?
No, I want to say that the privilege is all mine. Like as I told you, I'm a kind of a shy person, to be in front of a lot of people or doing some interviews. But I think the topic was amazing. I could not say no for futsal. And the privilege is all mine. It's a very responsibility to be the first woman talking here. And thank you. And also hope you and your family are all good, or are health and safe. Everyone also that is watching. We know that it's a difficult time, but for sure we are gonna learn how to reinvent ourselves. I think this is the point, to reinvent. If you cannot do what you're used to do, so one new thing you can do. And I hope that with this talk, that was a very nice talk, I could motivate someone, because in all this journey that I was involved with sports, I met people that motivated me, professionally and personally. So I really hope that sharing a little bit of my experience, I could, achieve someone's heart or someone's mind, to also create and build their path, their journey inside the sports world. We know that sometimes it's not easy. It's a very competitive world. It's an environment that demands you to be, always learning, always preparing, studying and everything. But don't give up. Don't give up of our dreams. Don't give up what you have, like planning for your life. It's hard, we know, but it's part of life, to build yourself. It's not good things that create you a good person. Always bad things, it's always good to face, because you always learn something with this. So be positive always. And yeah, I think it was this, and hope everyone enjoyed this talk today.
Thank you very much. And we definitely hope to see you again. And God's richest blessings to you and yours.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, guess that was Sthefania Lacerda. It was great having her being a guest on the Futsal868 Corner Talks. Next week, we speak sports science. And with that, I call them the three musketeers of local sports science. We have Mr. Trehart, Gregory Seal, Tobias Otley. Next week, the 10th of May, live on Facebook and YouTube at 4 p.m. Futsal868 Corner Talks. We speak futsal and sports science with Mr. Trehart, Gregory Seal, and Tobias Otley. On behalf of the team, my name is Geoffrey Edwards. It has been a pleasure being your host. I'm the president of the Futsal Association of Trinidad Tobago. I want to say thank you very much, and wishing God's richest blessings to you and yours, and have a wonderful and productive week ahead. Bye-bye.